And for the senator that was saying that the president needs to come back for reauthorization, I don't remember him saying anything. And Obama at the time dropped 26,000 bombs in Syria, Pakistan, Libya, just to name a few. And I definitely don't remember my colleagues in 2013 at all complaining about the president then Barack Obama, going into Syria. And I would like to ask the question then, what threat did Syria have to the United States? What threat did Libya have to the United States during the Arab Spring, to which these leaders were removed? And then I would ask the question, what threat did Iran have to us? Do we really need to talk about it? Do we need to talk about how many times they've killed thousands of Americans since 1979? From the first time they took hostages in November of 1979 to the last time they attacked us in June of 2025.
What is actually happening in America right now, and what is really going on inside Washington? Are we witnessing a turning point in history, or just another round of political theater? Because what you are about to see cuts straight through the noise and exposes something most people in power do not want to talk about, and today's moment is one you cannot afford to miss. Before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, and share, because the louder this gets, the harder it is for Washington to ignore. Now here is what matters. Mark Wayne Mullen steps into Congress and directly challenges Adam Schiff and the Democratic Party on what he calls blatant hypocrisy over Iran and war powers. And this is not just talk. He brings receipts, he brings history, and he forces the room to confront uncomfortable truths. This is the kind of leadership that shifts narratives, so stay with me, because what unfolds here matters to every single American. Welcome to Real Talk America.
Thank you, Chairman. I just feel like I need to respond to some things that the senator was bringing up by accusing the president of pulling out of a nuclear deal in his first term. It was a horrible deal. It was a disastrous deal. It was a deal that we all know that would originally allow Iran to be able to have enrichment to the grade that they could make a nuclear weapon. And then for the senator that was saying that the president needs to come back for reauthorization, I don't remember him saying anything in 2016 when Barack Obama at the time dropped 26,000 bombs in Syria, Pakistan, Libya, just to name a few. And I definitely don't remember my colleagues in 2013 at all complaining about the president then Barack Obama, going into Syria. And I would like to ask the question then, what threat did Syria have to the United States? What threat did Libya have to the United States during the Arab Spring, to which these leaders were removed? And then I would ask the question, what threat did Iran have to us? Do we really need to talk about it? Do we need to talk about how many times they've killed thousands of Americans since 1979? From the first time they took hostages in November of 1979 to the last time they attacked us in June of 2025? And anybody wants to doubt that they were a threat to us, an essential threat to us? Does anybody doubt on that side of the aisle, does anybody doubt that Iran, if or when they got a nuclear weapon, would deliver it to the United States if they have the capability of doing it? Does anybody deny that the fact that the president was being proactive on an adversary that has been chanting death to America since 1979? Does anybody deny that Iran was a threat to us and our service members? Or do we have to remind you how many they've injured and killed through their proxies and through direct action? This is the first president in 7 presidencies that actually did something about the thorn that constantly came after us. And now you criticizing and you say it's illegal? It's not. This same authorization is the same authorization that Democrats and Republican presidents in the past have used. And thank God we had a president with a backbone to finally get rid of this murderous regime. And now we're complaining about it? Remember, legally, he has to respond to Congress or inform Congress within 48 hours. That has happened. And then within 60 to 90 days, he needs to inform Congress if we're going to war and ask for specific war authorities. But the president, through Article 2, clearly has an obligation and the powers under the Constitution to defend our interest home and abroad. And there is no question he's defending our interest. No question. So what is this grandstanding about? Do you think we should have let the Ayatollah in place? Do you think he was a good guy? Are you defending the Ayatollah now? Or aren't you glad that America finally stood up and took care of this murderous regime that's been sponsoring terror around the world for 47 years? How about we say thank you, Mr. President? for finally getting rid of this nuisance, this murderer, this sponsor of terror. He did the world a favor, and the world is a safer place because of it. You may disagree with a lot of his actions, you may disagree with some of his policies, but you can't deny that this was a threat and an essential growing threat to the United States. And you want to say he's playing politics, and you get the politics behind it, Mr. Peters? You guys are playing politics. You guys are the ones that are grandstanding. The president's doing his job as commander-in-chief. And I think at one time or next, we should say thank you. Thank you for being a strong leader. But there's no way in God's green earth you guys can ever give the president, at least President Trump, any credit. Sorry.
Thank you.
Sir, I'm out. I still got 49 seconds. I got one question. Strategically speaking, Secretary Kobe, how is your department working with the Defense? How are you guys directly working with the Department of War on strategies specifically towards Russia, with Canada? Is there a strategy there?
Well, thanks, Senator. We're working a lot with our Canadian partners. They're one of the countries that really does need to step up. Canada has an incredibly storied and proud military history. I always point out they were in all the years of World War I and World War II. I think they had the fourth largest Navy at the end of World War II. They had their own beach at D-Day. But frankly, the Canadian Armed Forces, and if you talk to them, they've really kind of dismantled, particularly since the end of the Cold War, even a bit before. So we're trying to get more Canada. We've actually engaged with them extensively. The Secretary and I met with Minister McGuinty a few months ago, and we've been in constant contact, or continuing contact with them, with a sense of where we think they need to go, not only to meet NATO targets, but also for homeland defense as part of NORAD, potential for Golden Dome.
Let's cut through the spin. For months, Democrats have been preaching about presidential limits, constitutional boundaries, and war powers, but the moment Mark Wayne Mullen takes the floor, everything changes, and suddenly those same rules seem flexible at best. He points to 2016 under Barack Obama, when the United States dropped 26,000 bombs across Syria, Libya, and Pakistan. Not a small move, but a massive military campaign across multiple nations. And yet, where was the outrage? Where were the hearings? Where were the warnings about executive overreach? They were nowhere to be found. And that is the core of his argument. If war powers matter now, why do they not matter then? Mark Wayne Mullen does not stop there. He takes it further, bringing Iran into focus and asking the question no one in that room wants to answer out loud: is Iran a real threat? And if they had nuclear weapons, what would that mean for the United States? The reality is not complicated, and he makes it clear presidents on both sides have used these powers for decades. So what we are seeing now looks less like a legal debate and more like selective outrage driven by politics, not principle. And that is exactly what he calls out directly. This is bigger than one hearing. This is about consistency, leadership, and whether truth still matters in Washington. Now, I want to hear from you. Is Mark Wayne Mullen right to call out Adam Schiff and the Democrats, or is there more to this debate? Drop your thoughts below, because your voice carries more weight than you think. Welcome to Real Talk America.